Amanda sat by her boarding gate, sipping coffee. Her ticket to Lax or the San Fernando Valley rested under her thigh. A well-worn copy of Through the Looking Glass peeked from her bag. She barely noticed the buzzing terminal, the rolling suitcases, and the boarding calls. Her eyes were on an older couple across from her, laughing as they shared stories, hands intertwined. Two choices. Two doors, two futures waiting for my move, she thought. Behind the first door was a sleek home, modern and safe. Bright lights shone on polished counters, bills paid easily with a bank account that never needed much attention. It had a fresh scent of citrus and new appliances, but she would be alone there, sitting in the cold sunlight as her hair caught the breeze. The second door. A cozy home with scuffed floors and finger-marked windows, situated in a decent school district. Mornings wrapped in her husband's arms, his warm breath on her neck. Grocery lists scribbled on junk mail and toddlers jumping on the bed, causing delightful chaos. There was laughter in that house, the kind that makes you feel alive, that you are more than just a name or a face. She glanced at her phone. Still no response, not even from Jess, she thought, taking another sip. Her choices used to be simple: choose money, choose safety, lock the door, and not look back. But now she wasn't so sure. Maybe she had been afraid of the wrong things. Being broke, you could rise from that with the right partner. But being rich and alone, that emptiness lingers. And love. Love might be the one thing you can't just buy back when it's lost. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind, not harsh, just learned. Men leave, Amanda. They lose jobs or find someone younger, or like your father. They pass on. But money, you keep that. You'll always be safe. She used to accept her mother's words as the truth, back when survival felt like a religion and love was a dream for those who could afford to hold on to it. Now, those words sounded tired, like the distant memories of a woman who had lost everything and thought she could never rebuild. She watched the couple laugh and hug each other as if nothing else mattered but their love. Two choices. Two doors, two futures, just waiting for her move. Friday, August 15, 2025, 8 p.m., Jessica's downtown loft. 1 year earlier, Amanda walked through the crowd in her elegant black dress, trying not to draw attention, which seemed to make her stand out even more. She was graceful and magnetic, a striking figure at 32. Sun-kissed skin from her mixed background, thick dark curls tangled in a messy bun, and hazel eyes shining like gold under the party lights. She moved past two party girls in very little clothing, wearing clothes that barely seemed to cover anything. Were those ever really in style? She wondered. Note to self, get rid of my old clothes. She ducked to the side, giving quick smiles and small waves, avoiding deep eye contact as she made her way to the couch, balancing a glass of sparkling wine between her fingers, her heels clicking softly on the wooden floor. This wasn't her scene anymore, though it used to be. Amanda had danced on tables, talked for hours, and lost many nights in a fog of drinks. But that was before she left behind her life as Model X, moving on from her flashy past. She had been trying to get back into commercial modeling, but after another rejection that morning, it felt less like a comeback and more like a dead end. Still, Jess had convinced her to come. Jess loved hosting these parties, cramming too many people into a small downtown loft with music loud enough to drown out real conversations. But Amanda always supported her best friend. She smiled politely as Jessica's photographer friend attempted to pull her into a dance. Her cardsuit earrings swung as she regained her balance, revealing a hint of her secret style. Inside, however, everything felt flat. Dating was hard, not just because of her past, but because moments like this showed how little people noticed beyond appearances. That guy at the bar, he just asked if her lips were real. Again. Each time drained her hope that someone might want to know Amanda, not just the idea of her. Once men discovered the truth, they either saw her as a trophy or as a topic for gossip. This left her dating life feeling almost like a performance. The occasional potential boyfriend wanted the fantasy of Ripley, never Amanda, and love seemed to be out of the question. "Mandy, oh my God, your hair, what color is that? It looks amazing," someone exclaimed, gripping her elbow. Amanda simply smiled, replying, "A little of this, a little of that, you know how it is." But they didn't really know her, and now she was exactly where she least wanted to be, on the couch. She kicked off a heel, rubbed her sore toes, and took off the bunch of bracelets Jess had insisted she wear. As she sank into the couch, Jess's earlier voice echoed in her mind. Jess had burst in from the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, holding her phone and eyeliner. "Okay, hear me out. I think we go for something stylish but still classy, you know? Like, I do Pilates and enjoy oysters, but I can also be a bit wild. What are we thinking? Should I wear my hair up or down? I'm already feeling a bit wild, and I haven't even put on my false lashes." Amanda rolled her eyes. "I'm not trying to attract anyone tonight, Jess." "Oh, come on, you attract people just by being you. I'm just here to help you add some flair and sparkle." She tossed a set of shiny bracelets at Amanda like it was a gift. To be fair, Jess's bracelets were cute and matched her earrings, but every strap felt annoying, every seam pressed too tightly. What used to feel comfortable now felt like someone else's clothes. Ripley's clothes. Taking another sip, Amanda looked around the room. Across from her, leaning against a wall with a half-filled glass of something dark, was a man who seemed out of place. He had a clean and easy good looks that didn't try hard at all. His sleeves were rolled up, he had a sharp jaw, and his hair probably got messy when it rained. He stood confidently, like he didn't need anyone's attention. He wasn't scanning the crowd for someone more attractive and didn't linger on her like most people did. He glanced over her, then focused back on his phone as if he was texting someone important. That little disregard stung more than any flirtatious glance. Amanda felt a strange flutter in her stomach, not because she wanted him to notice her, but it was different, and that difference made her curious. The party grew louder with laughter and the sound of glasses clinking, mixed with a DJ playing remixed 90s music. Amanda moved away and settled into a comfortable chair near the open balcony, sipping her drink and watching everyone pass by in bright outfits. Then he sat down nearby, not directly across from her but close, dropping into the next chair with a sigh as if he was happy to sit down. She glanced over, a slight smile ready for the usual cheesy pickup line. Instead, he nodded toward a couple by the snack table, a man in a shirt that was too tight and a woman with bright nails on his arm. "Think he's boasting about how much money he has, or how he almost became a pro athlete in high school?" Amanda laughed, nearly spilling her drink. "Definitely the athlete thing. He's acting like it's still prom night. You can almost see the old Letterman jacket." The man smiled, his eyes crinkling. He pointed at a woman playing with her hair while talking to a man with an ironic mustache. "All right, your turn. What's she saying?" Amanda leaned in closer and dropped her voice. "I think taxidermy is really often misunderstood as an art form, don't you?" He was really trying to figure out if that was a reason to walk away. He snorted so hard he almost spilled his drink. "You're good at this," he said, surprised. "I watch people for a living," she replied, straight-faced. They both laughed. For a moment the party faded away and the noise turned into a soft murmur around them. Amanda tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear, feeling like a regular girl at a party, not someone to be judged. "I'm Adam," he said, extending his hand. "Amanda," she answered, then a playful smile appeared on her face. "Woo-woo-hoo." They pulled apart just in time to see Jess, a lively friend with wild black hair wearing a bright red dress. She was known for her fun-loving spirit and her knack for breaking the tension. She pointed at them, laughing over the music. "Ripley, more drinks in the back. Hey, nice one, bring the new guy. Woo." Then someone pulled her back to the dance floor. Amanda felt her face heat up as Jess disappeared into the crowd. Adam looked at her, one eyebrow raised. "But my best friend calls me by my middle name, Ripley." Adam grinned. "Is that from a movie, or are you just trying to keep guys away with your sharp tongue?" She laughed again, holding onto his arm for support. "It's from a movie. My dad thought it was a strong name for a girl." She flexed her arms comically. "Nice, I like it," he said. "I won't mess things up for you." Amanda felt a warm feeling in her chest. "I like him already." "Gambler?" he asked. Amanda squinted at him. "Your earrings and bracelets are quite unique." "Oh, haha, no, not at all. I wouldn't take risks with money," she said, showing him an earring. "I love Alice in Wonderland." "I prefer Alice, but the Red Queen, she's the one who makes it through." Adam raised an eyebrow. "I remember watching the cartoon as a kid." "I meant the books." "Just kidding, I do read," he replied seriously. Amanda shook her head, smiling, and changed the topic. "This doesn't seem like your kind of place. How did you end up here?" Amanda asked. "Is it that bad?" He laughed, rubbing his neck. A friend of a friend invited me, just something to do, but I have to say, for a wild party, it's been pretty dull, he chuckled. Until now, of course. Cheers to that, Amanda said, lifting her glass as she felt her cheeks warm. They clinked drinks, still laughing about the odd girl they saw earlier, and started sharing their own funny dating stories. Adam shared how he had been stood up twice in 1 month. The first time was by a woman who said she had food poisoning, yet she posted pictures at the beach that same night. Amanda laughed so hard that she almost spilled her wine, wiping her lips with the back of her hand. I had a guy take me to a steakhouse just so he could talk to me about healthy eating, she told him. It was like a speech in the middle of dinner. I think he thought it would impress me. Adam shook his head, smiling. If you ever want to join me, I promise we'll have the least serious coffee in New York. Amanda tilted her head, her eyes sparkling. Just coffee? That sounds like a missed chance. You could at least fill me up with a full meal. He blinked, puzzled. What do you mean? She leaned closer, putting her hand over her mouth as if sharing a secret, her voice lowering playfully. Here, what we'll do. We'll say tonight is our coffee date. We've already got dessert. Unless, she glanced at him teasingly, you have a girlfriend hiding around here. Adam's smile grew, looking a little surprised and happy at the same time. No girlfriend. But I like the coffee date idea. How about we make the next one dinner? Sounds great, she replied, tapping her glass against his. Your treat. Deal next Friday as long as you promise no talks about taxidermy. No promises, she laughed, giggling as he rolled his eyes. Just then, a voice interrupted them. You're still sitting here, Jess appeared, waving a fresh drink like it was a prize. I leave you for 5 minutes and you turn into my grandma. She raised an eyebrow at Adam. What, are you two planning something big? Amanda groaned, covering her face. We were just talking about coffee. Jess sat down next to her with a grin. Right. Then she leaned towards Adam. Hi, I'm Jess. Best friend, occasional matchmaker, sometimes sensible voice. Adam laughed and shook her hand. Adam, coffee date. Dinner date, Amanda corrected, giving Jess a look. Jess's eyes brightened. Wow, look at you two. I like him, by the way. She took Amanda's hand with fake seriousness. So when do we pick out dishes? Was all Adam could say before Jess was distracted. Oh. I love this song, Let's Dance. Jess pulled Amanda's hand as she dashed toward the kitchen, ready to dance. Go ahead, I'll join you in a minute, Amanda said, trying to keep her balance, but Jess was already waving her arms in the crowd. That one has a lot of energy, Adam said, lifting his glass. Exhausting, Amanda replied as their glasses clinked together. He looked at her with a warm smile, and Amanda felt a flutter in her stomach. He was looking at her like she mattered, not as just someone to admire, but a part of her wondered, if he really saw her as Amanda, what would he think if he knew everything? Adam tried to act relaxed, but inside his heart was racing like a young teen's. Yes, she was beautiful. The kind of beauty that made people stop and stare. But it wasn't just her looks that caught his attention. It was the way her eyes sparkled when she joked around and the playful smile she had before saying something funny. He swallowed hard. Across from him, Amanda's expression softened, as if she was saving this moment in her mind. That struck him. It wasn't just that she laughed with him or looked nice. It was that this moment seemed to mean something to her too. He felt nervous. Thursday, August 21, 2025, 4 p.m. Amanda's apartment. Amanda sat on her couch with her orange-striped cat, Poppy. The wind whistled outside, and Poppy's purring made a comforting sound. She was still excited from the party. Well, really from Adam. The last few days had felt light and happy, in a way she had almost forgotten. Now, in her comfy sweats and a tank top with her hair messy on top of her head, the results of trying on clothes were scattered around her. Jeans hung over the armchair, a sparkly top lay on the coffee table, and one shoe was missing its partner. She had tried on so many outfits, torn between casual and fancy. She wanted to look nice without trying too hard. In the middle of that, she realized she wasn't sure what kind of person she wanted to be for him. Then her phone beeped. Amanda quickly picked it up, her thumb already moving before she noticed who it was. Adam, can we change our plans for Friday night? Amanda frowned. Amanda, to when? Adam, Saturday morning, actually all day Saturday. I'll pick you up at 8 a.m. Wear comfy shoes. She blinked in surprise. Amanda, wait, why? Adam, because you're going to trust me and because I can be very convincing. Amanda, that's not an answer. Adam, nope. Amanda, fine. Adam, good girl. Her heart raced. What a cocky guy. she mumbled, but she was smiling now, feeling warm in the cheeks. She put her phone down and looked toward the hallway. Ash, her gray-striped tabby, was sitting quietly in the shadows, his eyes reflecting the light. "Hi, Ashy," she said, patting the cushion next to her. "Come join me and Poppy." Ash just stared at her as if she owed him something. "He's so rude, right, baby?" Amanda sighed, scratching Poppy behind the ears. In that moment, the apartment felt full, filled with the warmth of cats and the excitement of something new beginning. Chapter 2, Renaissance * Saturday, August 23, 2025, 8 m***. Amanda opened the passenger door and was greeted by the smell of fresh coffee and breakfast. "Nice. You're forgiven for the early pickup," she said, noticing a brown paper bag on her seat. Adam grinned over the top of his cup. "I aim to please, bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll, a proper New York apology." She settled into her seat, fastening her seatbelt with one hand while taking out the sandwich with the other. "Still not telling me where we're going?" "Nope," Adam replied with a sip of his drink. "But you'll like it. You don't know that. I've learned you enjoy good coffee, costumes, and a bit of make-believe." She blinked. "Costumes?" He just smiled and tapped the GPS screen. As they drove, the busy city changed to winding roads, trees lit by the sun, and the Westchester Hills. Amanda leaned back, letting the breeze from the cracked window ruffle her hair. Then she noticed it. Small signs along the road read, Tuxedo NY 5 miles Renaissance Fair 3 miles. Her mouth dropped open in surprise. "Wait, no, are we going to the—" Adam raised an eyebrow. "Milady doth catch on." Amanda laughed, her mouth full of egg. "You're silly," she thought to herself. "This could be amazing." "Only the best for my fair lady," he said with playful formality. The parking lot was already filling up as they arrived. She put on her sunglasses and they walked towards the entrance, joining a lively crowd of families, teens wearing elf ears and couples in fancy outfits. Just past the gates, a trumpet sounded, and a man in fine robes called out, "Make way for Her Majesty! All hail the Queen!" Amanda stopped in awe as the Queen, dressed in royal garments and surrounded by knights and attendants, walked by. She couldn't stop smiling. They stepped into a nearby costume rental booth. Adam picked out a simple tunic and a belt with a fake dagger. Amanda laughed at his silly hat as she browsed the gowns, debating between a deep red and a rich green dress. She was attracted to the red one, but the green dress fit her beautifully and flowed elegantly as she moved. Outside the shop, Amanda spun around in her dress and the sunlight caught the lovely gold threads in her skirt. Adam stared a moment longer than necessary. "What?" she asked, hands on her hips. He shrugged, saying, "You're going to outshine everyone else." She smirked. "Good." They wandered further into the fair, passing booths selling turkey legs, blacksmiths working by an open flame, and performers juggling bright objects. The air was filled with the smell of roasted food, sweet nuts, and fresh hay. Amanda was drawn to a charming booth surrounded by vines, with soft lights and colorful butterflies glimmering all around. A crooked wooden sign read, "The Fairy Glade, Fortune and Wishes." She turned to Adam over her shoulder. "Are you coming?" He pointed to the booth. "You had me at the twinkle lights." Adam spun the wooden bow in his hand like a toy. Amanda giggled. "You've clearly never used a bow." "Not true," he said, puffing up. "I once got a perfect score in a video game." She raised an eyebrow, already preparing her own arrow. "Stand back, Legolas." Her arrow landed just outside the center. Adam stepped up and got ready for his shot. Amanda moved closer, gently guiding his elbow. "Easy, pull steady, breathe, aim a little above, now, let go." Adam missed the target completely, and his arrow landed in the grass behind the hay bales. "We're never talking about this again," he said, trying not to smile. Amanda laughed. "Deal, but you owe me a turkey leg." "Not fair, that haystack was definitely magical," Adam said, placing his hand on her back. The benches were packed with families and shouting kids, so they sat under a tree and watched children play pretend battles on a giant chessboard, eating smoked turkey legs with barbecue sauce all over their fingers. "I swear this is heavier than my last bag," Amanda said, eyeing the greasy drumstick. "Stop being fancy and eat it." She took a big bite, then burst into laughter as juice dripped down her wrist. Adam watched her with a warm smile, his own laughter soft and genuine. "Wow, you're a real mess." "You know what this needs," Adam said, lifting the turkey leg like a king's scepter. "Don't say hot sauce." "Mead," Amanda rolled her eyes. You're such a dork. He leaned in closer. Takes one to date one. She laughed lightly, feeling surprised at how easy this all felt. It was as if they had known each other for ages, like she belonged here in a borrowed outfit, sharing smiles and laughter. Amanda looked at the sign before them, wishing she would rather face a dragon. Troll toll, couples must pay in smiles to cross. Oh, come on, Ripley said, sighing. This is so cheesy. Adam raised an eyebrow. Are you scared? Of what, your big sweet gestures? You could just ask me for a smile. He scratched the back of his neck, looking a bit shy. Where's the fun in that? Something in her heart squeezed. Amanda stepped forward, grabbed the front of his shirt, and pulled him down for a kiss. It started quickly, playful and impulsive, but as he wrapped his arms around her waist, everything slowed down. The noise of the fair faded away. His lips were warm and confident, making her feel safe and content. She could hear people cheering around them, but she didn't care. In her mind, a soft song began to play. I'm gonna love you, slow and easy. When she finally pulled back, breathless, she smiled. There, toll paid, your move, gallant knight, don't make me storm the bridge. Adam looked dazed, but in a good way. Then he grinned, his eyes bright. After you, my lady, he said, bowing dramatically while offering his arm. She took it, trying to stay steady, already adding that kiss to her collection of memories. The drive back was peaceful. The radio played a soft indie song Amanda didn't know, and the windows were open just enough for the cool night air. She leaned against Adam's shoulder, her eyes half closed, one hand resting lightly on his thigh, her flower crown slipping off her head. Are you asleep? He whispered, gently holding her hand. No, just enjoying, she replied. He smiled as he kept his eyes on the road. Enjoying. Today was amazing, he suggested. Unexpected, she said softly. In a really good way, she blushed slightly. It was the best dinner date I've ever had. Adam held her hand a little tighter. Really? Yeah. He glanced at her, his fingers tapping on the steering wheel. Good, because I have a bunch of other fun date ideas. She turned her face into his shoulder, taking in his presence, and whispered quietly, Thank you for letting me be myself today. He felt a rush in his heart. He lifted her hand to his lips and kissed her knuckles. I don't know who that is, but I like Amanda. Her laughter was muffled, but it felt like relief. She laughed again, turned back to the window, and thought, I could get used to this. The week after the Ren Fair, Amanda felt on top of the world. She kept thinking about how Adam had kissed her on that silly troll bridge, as if he wanted something more than just fun. On Wednesday, her mom called for their weekly chat. Between stories about a neighbor's surgery and a new coupon app, her tone became serious. So, you seeing a new guy? Yeah, Mom, Amanda said, smiling to herself. Just be careful, sweetheart. You need someone steady, someone with a real plan. You don't want to waste time on someone who can't offer you security. Love doesn't pay the bills. Amanda sighed internally, letting her mother's words wash over her like a familiar rain. Same advice, different day. She remembered when she was younger, her mom sitting at the kitchen table, worried over bills. Pretty girls find ways to get ahead, she'd say. You need to be smart about it. And it worked. With her mom's guidance, her looks opened doors. Local beauty contests led to modeling jobs by 16. It brought her confidence, money, and attention, a path where attractiveness was valuable and she learned how to use it. But the world of fame was a locked door, and charm alone wasn't enough to open it. She understood something important, too. She felt good about her body. In fact, being unclothed around others, whether on set or in dressing rooms, felt natural to her. That comfort felt like an advantage she could use. So when the first offers for lingerie and tasteful photo sessions came in, they didn't seem wrong. They felt like a normal next step, a way to keep getting praise and to feel wanted. When those suggestions turned into fully naked work, she told herself it was still art, still a choice. But was that all she was, or just what was easiest to show? 4 years after leaving that world, she still didn't know. Her eyes wandered around the quiet kitchen, still filled with the memory of her mother's voice. Then she noticed a note on the fridge from Adam. Wear comfy shoes Saturday. You'll thank me later. She smiled a bit. Maybe safety wasn't the only thing that mattered. Chapter 3, Pick Me. Saturday, September 6, 2025, 10 a.m. Upstate, and why the orchard was a mix of crooked trees heavy with red and gold fruit, their leaves rustling with early autumn colors. The air smelled of damp earth, distant smoke from wood-burning fires, and the chilly freshness of early fall. They had been walking through the rows for almost an hour, Adam teasing her about finding the perfect apple that somehow never made it into the basket. Amanda traced her fingers along a low branch, sunlight shimmering in her hair until an apple almost dropped into her hand. She smiled wide. "Show off," Adam called from behind her, trying the same move but coming up empty. Amanda poked his side with her basket. "Says the guy who is keeping all the good ones to himself." She bit into the apple with a loud crunch. "You have to pick the ones that are ready to be taken. Low-hanging fruit has its appeal." He squinted playfully. "Was that a jab? Who says it was a jab?" She reached for another apple, their fingers brushing against each other, making her heart race a little. Adam laughed, wrapping his arms around her waist and spinning her around. Her basket tipped, apples rolling around them as they fell into the grass, laughing and tangled up together. In her mind, the bright start of a song played, matching the excitement in her chest. Adam rested on one elbow, moving hair from her face. "Your trouble, you know that? Me, you're the one who drove me 2 hours out here. You can only blame yourself." "I admit it," he said, grinning. "But it was worth it." He leaned in and kissed her, and for a moment Amanda let her usual walls down, letting herself feel completely relaxed. Everything felt light. When they pulled away, their foreheads stayed touching, smiles spreading in rhythm. Somewhere between the end of the song and the next part starting, she realized she wasn't running anymore. Later, they sat together on an old bench by the farm stand, holding warm cups of cider. The smell of cinnamon and fried treats filled the air, and Adam took a careful bite of his cider donut, his eyes closing in delight. "This," he said with his mouth full, "is why I come back every year." Amanda laughed while sipping her drink. "The donuts? Definitely, the apple picking is just a bonus." She playfully nudged him with her elbow. "I knew you were a softie." He nudged her back, then looked at her more closely. "Have you ever done this before?" "What, enjoy warm donuts?" she said with powdered sugar on her face. He smiled and handed her a napkin. "No, I mean a regular fall date, jeans, apples, small-town sunshine." Amanda hesitated, tracing her finger over the tattoo on her arm as she watched the families around them. She spoke quietly. "No." "Never." Adam didn't break the silence. He simply reached over and took her hand, intertwining their fingers, gently brushing her knuckles until she let out a slow breath. She squeezed his hand and held on tightly. As they walked toward the checkout, Amanda slowed down, seeing a busy mother at the counter trying to manage 2 children while talking with the cashier. Her body language was clear, one hand on her wallet and the other on her child's shoulder, her voice low and stressed. The girl held a bag of apples and a jar of honey, her eyes wide. "Be right back," Amanda whispered. Adam watched as she approached, speaking gently but confidently. He couldn't hear her words, but she offered her card, smiled at the mom, and even bent down to chat with the kids. After a moment, they shared a quick hug before Amanda returned, tucking her hair behind her ear as if to downplay it. "That was very kind of you," Adam said. She shrugged, trying to hide the feelings in her eyes. "My dad died in an accident when I was little. My parents were young, so there was no plan or money saved." She paused, recalling the past. She remembered moving out when she was just 7. That night felt like a game to her. Her mom asked her to pack her favorite toys in a trash bag. She chose just 3. A broken tiara, a blanket that still smelled like her dad, and her Alice in Wonderland books. They left when it was dark. Amanda recalled her mom trying to start the car quietly so no one would notice. She remembered the way her mother's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly and how she whispered her hopes to the car instead of to God. "Hey, you okay?" Adam gently touched her face, bringing her back to the present. "Yeah, sorry. I'll never forget that night we left our home," Amanda said softly. "When I realized that love doesn't solve problems, it hit me hard. We lost almost everything we had, and my mom tried her best to stay strong, but it changed her." She looked at him. "I remember worrying about food while some girl in class was upset about her phone color." Adam was quiet for a moment, staring at her like she was something special. "I'm sorry you had to go through that, Amanda," he said while reaching for her hand. "Thank you. I try to help when I can. Pay it forward, you know." Her voice was softer now. "You're amazing," he whispered. She smiled gently, keeping her eyes on him. Chapter 4, Evergreen Sphere Tuesday, September 9, 2025, 7 p.m. Adam hummed quietly as he walked, enjoying the calm evening air, unlike the busy streets filled with honking cars. He opened the door with a flourish for two young women behind him. Their smiles made him even happier. After talking to the hostess, he looked around the bar for Liam and found a corner table by the window to wait for him. Adam and Liam had been friends since high school and lived together in an apartment with two other guys. Garrett and Aaron had moved on to finance jobs in different cities, but Adam and Liam still met up every Tuesday for drinks and talked about coding. Just as a waitress placed two beers on the table, Liam's hands rested on Adam's shoulders. "What's up, bro?" "Hey, man." Adam stood for a quick hug. "All good." "Yeah, I noticed. You've been smiling a lot lately. You didn't even tease that guy who complained about your code." "It wasn't wrong, just not his style. I sent him a version he could understand." They both laughed. "That guy can be difficult anyway," Liam grinned. "What's her name?" Adam blinked. "What? Don't give me that look. You're only this happy when there's someone special in your life. Who is it?" "Not quite that yet, but great talks and two amazing dates. She's funny, quick-witted, and real. I feel good about her." He paused and added, "Her name's Amanda Stevens. She used to model." "Model, huh?" Liam shook his head. "Nice, you're going to have to introduce me to her friends if this gets serious." "Two," Adam smirked. "Let me dream, man." Liam patted his shoulder and raised his pint. "To models." Adam rolled his eyes but clinked his glass. "Cheers." "Excuse us," a voice interrupted. The two women from the door, now without their coats, looked even better under the bar lights. "It's empty over there. Mind if we join?" "Of course," Liam replied before Adam could say anything. "Come sit. Don't mind him. He's just contemplating life." "Oh, if we're bothering you," the brunette began. "No, please sit down," Adam said smoothly. "He could use the company." They settled into chairs and the talk flowed easily. Adam laughed at the jokes, but his thoughts were already on their date on Friday with Amanda. The world around her blurred as they walked to the local Thai restaurant, each step light and each breath full of excitement. Adam looked good in his gray blazer and dark jeans, but what really made her heart race was how often he looked at her, as if he couldn't believe his luck. The dress Amanda wore was simple by Ripley standards, but it fit her well, and she noticed the impression it made. She hadn't felt this thrilled in a long time. Everything felt easy with him, and he made her feel noticed. Then came the surprise. His hand slipped into hers. His fingers were warm and relaxed. A spark of warmth ran through her. There was no need for words, just a comfortable, perfect touch. She didn't speak but held on tighter, embracing the feeling. The restaurant was busy, full of chatter and clinking dishes, but it felt cozy. Soft lights reflected off the fixtures, creating a warm glow. Amanda decided tonight was the night to share everything about her past with Adam. They had been dating for over a month, and she needed to know if he could accept her story. It was a risk, but she wanted this to be real, and you can't start something real with lies. So she kept her hand in his, not just for comfort, but because letting go would break the moment. They were taken to a small table by the window, a cozy corner that felt private. She wasn't very hungry, but sitting across from Adam stirred a different kind of craving inside her. As they laughed and ordered appetizers, she felt the tension easing, making the night feel special. Their conversation and dinner flowed as they caught up on their week and carefully learned more about each other. But soon Amanda felt it, a watchful gaze lingering on her. Adam noticed, his eyes narrowing at a man at a nearby table who was staring, phone halfway out as if he might take a picture. "Excuse me, do you mind? Are you taking a picture of us?" Adam's voice rang out clearly, breaking through the chatter. The man jumped, surprised. "Oh, sorry, I've never seen Model X in person." "You're Ripley, right?" Adam's jaw clenched. Amanda reached across, placing her hand over his before he could respond, feeling the tension in his grip. "Adam, just pay the bill, please. I can't explain this in front of everyone while I'm trying to eat pad thai." As they waited for the bill, she kept her hand on his, gently stroking his thumb. She was used to being looked at. She could handle fans, but Adam's response felt different. He was protective. She wasn't used to anyone caring about her like that. On the way home, Amanda took Adam to a quiet cocktail bar she knew was perfect for a private conversation. They ordered drinks and sat in a small booth in the corner. Adam's knee brushed against hers, providing a comforting connection. Amanda felt uneasy about this moment, but it was time to be honest. If there was a chance for them as a couple, she needed to tell him before things got serious. Adam watched as she pulled out her phone and began tapping on the screen. He'll see me differently, she thought. Like others do, I'm either the car they want but can't afford or the person they admire but can't respect. Amanda's phone felt heavy in her hand. Amanda! With a small sigh, she slid her phone across the table to him, then clasped her hands together, trying to keep still while he looked at the screen. At first, he just stared, confused. The images didn't register right away. He recognized the brand Model X. It was popular among guys who appreciated beauty. The woman on the screen wore fancy wigs and unique outfits, sometimes just body paint and a smile. Then realization hit him and he hesitated, his thumb hovering over the screen. Wait, this is... You were in that, she let out a small laugh. I did mostly soft content, some scenes with Jess, nothing very graphic though, but I stopped 4 years ago. She glanced at him. You really didn't know? No. He ran a hand through his hair, taking a deep breath. I mean, I knew about the brand, but... Wow, it makes sense now. Jess calling you Ripley instead of Amanda, the looks we got when we went out. How did I not put it together? He asked, shaking his head slightly. Don't worry. You'd be surprised how makeup, different lighting, and costumes can change how people see you, Amanda said, noticing his confusion. I guess so. He handed the phone back to her. I'm sorry I didn't mention it earlier. Usually the people I date know about my history. She braced for his reaction, knowing judgment often followed. She watched his face change with different feelings. She took his hand. Please tell me what you're thinking. Adam's expression shifted as he looked between her and the phone. So, do you still have that catgirl costume? Amanda playfully ran her nails down his cheek, finding a spark of humor to ease her nerves. Meow! He chuckled softly and shook his head. Of course you do. Then he leaned over the table and kissed her gently, as if he were trying something new and figuring out if he liked it. After pulling away, he spoke carefully. Is that everything? Her stomach tightened. She looked down at the table, her nail tracing a scratch, then met his gaze again. Everything that matters, she replied. He nodded and swallowed hard. Then his small, crooked smile returned. Okay, then that's behind us. I'm here for the Amanda. That's now. She tried to breathe as a mix of laughter and sobs formed in her throat. You're not scared to be with me? Adam took her hand, gently stroking it with his thumb. No, I'm excited to build something with you. Amanda's lips quivered as she tried to contain her joy. They didn't even finish their drinks. By the time they reached her apartment, they were almost lost in each other, their lips eager, hands familiar. She paused at the door, but as he kissed her again, slow and sure, she let herself give in. Her past had often felt like a transaction, but this was different. She longed for something genuine. She pushed him onto the couch, their lips meeting as they shared soft kisses. Amanda couldn't remember the last time being close felt so natural. She wondered if this was love, pulling him deeper into the kiss, hoping he could feel the feelings she didn't know how to express yet. All the while, 2 pairs of bright eyes watched from the dark hallway. Chapter 6, Decisions, Saturday, September 13, 2025, 7 a.m. Adam woke up to a dull, gray morning in New York, with clouds hanging low over the city. But that didn't matter since her perfume lingered on his skin, reminding him of the night before. His heart raced in rhythm with hers as their kiss deepened, but he sensed her uncertainty and didn't rush. He was willing to wait. Instead, he allowed her to guide them. She slipped off his shirt, her touch soft and gentle before resting against him with a sigh. When he left her apartment, a small orange cat wrapped around his legs as he buttoned his shirt. He bent down to scratch her chin. That's Poppy, Amanda said. She'll love you forever now that you've petted her, and that's Ash in the corner. He might warm up to you later. But Ash was already approaching Adam, tail held high. Amanda blinked. Huh, I guess he likes you. He's got good taste, Adam replied, crouching to scratch under Ash's chin. He left with a long kiss at her door, her eyes following him as he walked toward the elevator. Adam had no specific plans, just the peaceful quiet of a Saturday to enjoy. He took a bagel from the paper bag on the counter, spread some cream cheese on it, poured coffee into his favorite chipped mug, and settled on the couch with his laptop warming his knees. He had avoided looking last night, but his curiosity got the better of him. Adam typed in the address for the Model X site and watched it load. The homepage was colorful, featuring images of Ripley dressed as various characters from sci-fi and fantasy stories. He clicked through slowly, trying to connect these eye-catching images with the woman who had laughed with him the night before. What amazed him most wasn't just the costumes, which were excellent. Unlike other sites with low-quality props and backgrounds, Ripley's work was detailed and well-made. Her brand stood out. Each piece of clothing and each small detail matched the original designs perfectly. The sets were not just poor digital images. They were real places, carefully arranged and lit in a way that made her come alive on the screen. Amanda had joked the night before that if the illusion was strong enough, people didn't compare it to her real self. "They are too busy believing in the fantasy," she had said with a laugh. He kept scrolling until he found something completely different, a gallery that had nothing to do with usual fantasy themes. It looked like a ruined royal court. It was Amanda as Ripley, dressed in torn black jeans and a simple red top, wearing a leather choker with a red heart and a broken silver tiara in her hair. The background was a worn-out apartment, with cracked red walls and exposed pipes, lit by flickering lights that cast strange shadows. In one picture, she stood on a dirty mattress, chin up, eyes looking down with bright red lipstick smudged across her lips. In another, she pressed against the wall, giving a fierce look. In yet another picture, she lay back, her jeans hurriedly pulled down, revealing black and white checkered underwear, her legs spread across a broken doorway. The floor around her was scattered with playing cards. Her skin was decorated with smudged tattoos, each one inspired by a card suit, and her eyes radiated a challenging spirit. Adam didn't know why this gallery interested him more than the others. Perhaps it was the honesty, the raw feeling instead of a polished fantasy. Her gaze seemed to invite him closer, as if saying, "Come closer." Discover what happens next. The last image made him feel a rush of emotions. She stood there, completely bare, hands covering herself, a small membership sticker placed over her lower body. It was a thought that troubled him, and he despised himself for it. But that was the past. He picked up his phone and sent a message to Amanda. Amanda stood barefoot in her kitchen, one hand around a mug, the other absent-mindedly twisting the edge of Adam's undershirt, the one she had taken off last night and hidden under her pillow. Morning light streamed through the small kitchen window, making her squint. Her legs felt sore in a nice, new way, a reminder of how close they had come. They had not taken their relationship to that level the night before. As much as she wanted to embrace him fully, she held back. She wasn't the same person anymore, looking for something temporary. She wanted something deeper. But the lingering discomfort wasn't just physical. It was a sweet reminder that made her heart race each time she thought about how he had gently touched her face. She caught her reflection in the dark microwave screen, messy hair, sleepy eyes, a small smile on her lips. She took a can of food from the pantry and shook it lightly. Poppy came trotting in, her tail wagging and brushing against Amanda's legs. All right, Amanda said softly, scooping the food into the dish. "Love me now, forget me by lunch. I know how this goes." From the living room, Ash perched on the back of the couch, watching her with quiet eyes hard to read. "And good morning to you too, Mr. Judgy," she said lightly, not expecting a reply. Ash blinked slowly and then looked away. Suddenly, her phone buzzed on the counter, sliding slightly across the surface. She jumped, her heart racing, and quickly picked it up. It was Adam. "Morning, sunshine. I checked out your site and did a lot of thinking. I'm in for date 4, 5, 6, and wherever this goes. I can't wait to see what we build together." A rush of breath escaped her. She pressed the phone to her chest, closing her eyes, trying to take in the relief and excitement. Her thumbs fumbled over the screen. His words made her decision easy. Amanda replied, "Red, I want that. Free tonight." His response came back so quickly that it made her smile. "Adam, for you, always." Amanda, "Okay, you handle dinner, I'll bring my overnight bag, winking face, see you at 5. Better to be prepared, she thought, feeling pleased with her choice. Truthfully, she was ready, standing in her kitchen, grinning like a fool, biting her lip in excitement. Adam spent most of the afternoon cleaning his apartment. Not obsessively, but enough to make sure it felt inviting. The couch cushions were fluffed, surfaces wiped down, the bedroom vacuumed, with neat sheets tucked in tight. He lit one of the citrus-scented candles that Amanda had liked during her last visit, letting the fresh smell fill the rooms. He ordered sushi from a great place, complete with real wasabi and hand rolls, and set a small table with 2 plates and chopsticks. There was wine if she wanted it, but he also made a pitcher of unsweetened green tea and put it in the fridge. That felt more special. After a long shower, he put on a soft cotton t-shirt and dark joggers, clean and casual, comfortable, just like himself. He had just folded a throw blanket over the couch when the doorbell rang. Amanda stood at the door with her overnight bag over one shoulder, wearing a slightly oversized sweater and dark jeans. Her smile took his breath away. "Hey," she said, a little shy. "Hey," he replied, stepping closer to give her a gentle kiss. She relaxed into him, wrapping her arms around him as her bag slid off her shoulder and gently hit the floor. He picked it up and placed it neatly in the hallway. When he turned back, Amanda was still there, looking warm and holding on to him, not wanting to let go. They stood quietly for a moment, their foreheads touching, sharing the same air and letting the world outside drift away. After a few heartbeats, he asked, "Are you hungry?" "Starving," she said, her eyes on his. The connection between them was clear. He smiled and kissed her again, this time more slowly. "Sushi's almost here." When the sushi arrived in a messy pile of little containers, soy sauce packets, and bright plastic dividers, Adam had gone out of his way to make it nice. He had laid out 2 white dinner plates, poured the cold green tea into matching glasses, and set chopsticks beside forks just in case. Amanda raised an eyebrow at the setup. "Are you trying to impress me?" "Of course," Adam replied with a shrug. "Is it working?" She leaned in and brushed her lips against his. "Definitely." They sat close, their thighs brushing under the table. They talked easily about their week, exchanged playful jokes about their different music tastes, and enjoyed the comfortable silence that came from being together. But it was the way they looked at each other, softly and thoughtfully, that told the deeper story. Later, as they washed the dishes, they bumped hips playfully, joking about who was in charge of the sponge. Amanda squealed when Adam splashed water at her, and she responded with a playful poke to his chest. His wet hands found her waist, drawing her closer until they were perfectly aligned. She laughed, playfully hit his shoulder, then grabbed his face for a quick kiss, tasting the soy sauce and something sweeter. It felt simple, warm, and just right. It felt like something they had done many times before. Dinner was finished, and the last plate sat drying on the rack. They fell together onto the couch, close and relaxed, their heads resting against each other. Adam asked the home AI to play a movie. The lights slowly dimmed, filling the room with a warm and calm glow. The screen came on, filling the space with soft colors and quiet sound. They watched for a while, though neither paid much attention. Amanda shifted closer and rested against him as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Adam laughed softly when she kissed him. The moment was slow and careful, full of feeling rather than rush. They stayed close, hands resting and moving gently, sharing warmth and comfort. Before long, they stood and made their way to the bedroom, leaving the movie playing behind them. They lay down together, still smiling, the room quiet and still. Adam leaned close, taking his time, and Amanda responded with a soft breath and a small sound of joy. She reached for him and he paused, searching her face. She met his eyes, open and sure. She nodded slightly, her meaning clear without words. He kissed her again, slow and steady, and she relaxed into the moment. He stayed patient and kind, never rushing, letting the feeling grow on its own. Amanda held onto the sheets as warmth spread through her, her breathing uneven but calm. He kept the pace gentle, easing the moment forward bit by bit. The tension built slowly until it became too much to hold. Amanda gasped, then let out a quiet cry as the feeling washed over her. Her body relaxed at last, and she sank back onto the bed, breathing hard but smiling. The room was quiet again. Adam stayed close, and Amanda rested, calm and safe, the moment complete. He moved closer on the bed, kissing her softly as he settled above her. She welcomed him without hesitation, wrapping her arms and legs around him. As he gently pressed against her, she opened up more, adjusting herself to make space. When he finally joined with her, she let out a breath, a mix of relief and surprise. His weight felt warm and steady, providing her a sense of comfort she hadn't felt in a long time. She could feel him completely, every part of her aware of his presence. He took his time, letting her adapt to him. As they came together, he paused to touch her gently, noticing how her eyes fluttered and she tilted her head back, listening to her breathing. He feels just right, she thought. Even better than that. They moved in sync, their lips meeting softly with each rhythm, as if they were finding a beat that had always been there. Every movement invited and responded to the other. He positioned himself, holding her hands above her head, looking deep into her eyes. "You're mine," he murmured. Her expression brightened at his words and then softened as she pulled him closer with her legs, playfully teasing him. As they reached their peak together, she felt a wave of warmth wash over her. When they finished, they didn't move at once. They stayed in the stillness, limbs intertwined, hearts racing, trying to hold on to the moment. "Wow," she giggled, looking into his eyes. Adam smiled and kissed her forehead. Amanda reflected silently. "I used to think intimacy was just a physical need, a brief moment, but with him, it feels so much more." They turned to cuddle, her back against his chest, and he wrapped his arm around her. Comforted by each other, they drifted off to sleep, with only the sound of his heartbeat in the quiet. Sunday, September 14, 2025, 7 a.m. Adam returned from the bathroom and slipped back into bed beside Amanda. The sheets were tangled around her legs, and her breathing was soft. He propped himself up on one elbow and traced his fingers lightly along the curve of her side. That's when he noticed a small, elegant tattoo near her hip, partially hidden by the morning light. It read "More than just skin," followed by a red heart. He paused, gently brushing his thumb over it. He had seen her collarbone tattoo before, which said "She dreams," followed by a spade. That one was for the public, showcasing a side of her meant for others to see. But this was private, tucked away. It felt like a secret part of Amanda, a message just for herself. His chest felt tight. She wasn't just pretty, she was also brave and a bit scared. Without thinking, he kissed the words. "I see you," he whispered. "All of you." On the other side of the bed, Amanda pressed her face into the pillow, enjoying the warmth of his words. Slowly, she smiled, a sly yet genuine smile, and turned to look at him. "All right, mister." She playfully pushed him onto his back and climbed on top of him with a mischievous glint in her eye. "Now it's my turn to have some fun." Adam stared at the ceiling, smiling about their earlier moments. She lay across his chest, lazily tracing circles on his stomach with her fingers. "Be honest," she said softly. "Did you ever think about me when looking at my pictures?" Adam chuckled. "Well, I guess a younger me might have, yeah, maybe, a few times." Her smile grew, a mix of relief and mischief. "That's sweet," she said. "Thanks for being honest with me, but just to be clear, from now on, all your attention is for me, got it?" Adam looked at her seriously. "Of course, I'm all yours." He tried to laugh, but he felt something was off about the way she said it. It didn't match how he felt about her or their relationship. "Yes, ma'am," he replied, giving her a playful nudge. On a Saturday morning in October, Amanda walked barefoot into the kitchen, wearing Adam's shirt, which was kind of loose. Even though she loved being close to him, Poppy kept nudging her while Ash watched her from the window. After mixing the wet and dry food in 2 bowls, she set them down and started making coffee. With her elbows on the counter, she thought about breakfast. She hadn't shopped for the weekend, so there wasn't much to eat. She could get pastries from the bakery nearby, but then she would have to get dressed and put on proper clothes. Maybe she would wait for Adam to wake up first. Poppy's soft thump of paws nearby was her only warning before a fuzzy face gently nuzzled against hers. Amanda leaned into the touch, feeling the warm fur as Poppy purred softly against her cheek. Ash sat quietly, watching the bedroom door. Amanda smiled and shook her head. "Adam's up," she thought, rising from her stool to grab 2 mugs. "Morning, gorgeous," Adam said with Ash twirling around his legs. "Hey there," Adam said, looking at Ash with curiosity. "I can't figure out what charm you have." "It's just my confident vibe," Amanda replied playfully. "You think Ash doesn't like girls?" "Not at all. He seems to get along with Poppy just fine." "You're silly," Amanda giggled. "Here's your coffee," she said, sliding a mug across the counter. "Thanks a lot." Adam smiled as Amanda leaned in for a gentle kiss while Ash joined them at the counter. "I was just joking, you know I—" She paused, unsure how to finish her thought. Adam grinned. "You know you what?" Amanda looked into his eyes, feeling her heart race. It was a big moment. Just 6 weeks had passed since they began exploring their feelings. "Amanda, you know you what?" He asked again, sounding playful. "Maybe I can help you love me." She nodded slowly, her heart feeling full. It was true. "Yes, Adam, I love you." Before she could finish, he kissed her softly. She pulled back and enjoyed this tender moment. Let's make it special with a kiss, a coffee kiss, she suggested. A what? Take a sip, swirl it around gently, then swallow. Following her instructions, she felt the warmth of the coffee. They leaned in close, sharing a soft kiss as the coffee aroma surrounded them. I love you, Amanda, Adam said, looking deeply into her eyes. She smiled, feeling joyful, and took another sip of her coffee. Coffee kisses, she said. It had been 2 weeks since they first said, I love you, and surprisingly, everything felt normal. The stress Amanda had felt vanished. She moved easily through Adam's kitchen, wearing a tank top and his boxers. They had begun to spend weekends together and now shared more of their days, hardly ever sleeping alone. Coffee ready, she grabbed their mugs and placed a box of pastries on the counter. Adam always thought ahead and made sure she had her favorites, Nutella-filled croissants. Adam walked into the kitchen wearing a t-shirt and another pair of boxers. Too shy to wear my fancy ones, she teased. Actually, he said, scratching his head, I couldn't find them. Did we leave them in the bedroom? Oh, wait, I didn't wear any. I didn't like the lines. Well, in that case, Adam started, but Amanda stopped him playfully. Hold on, breakfast, coffee, and kisses first, she said. They sat down together. Adam poured the coffee while Amanda placed the pastries on plates. He grinned as she took a bite and enjoyed her pastry. Nutella was her favorite, and he agreed that it paired well with their special coffee kisses. Who's the baby in the picture on the fridge, your secret? He asked. My niece. I have a younger sister, Lauren. She's married and has 2 kids. But you know, I wouldn't be against that idea. Of kids, I'd really like to meet her and your whole family soon, and I'm open to the idea of having children too. He noticed her smile when she mentioned this. You're right, though. We've been together for 2 months, and we've even used the L word. I was thinking about Thanksgiving, but we should plan a dinner or get-together before that. I'll take care of it. Why, Adam, are you asking me to be exclusive? I have other choices, you know, maybe, but 3 of those choices are parts of me. She nodded, a finger on her chin. You make a strong case. All right then, after thinking it over, I agree to be exclusive with you. Let's meet the parents. They clinked their coffee mugs. He smiled. That decision is sealed with a kiss. Coffee kiss, she replied as her lips met his. She smiled softly. It's still the best way to start a morning. Thursday, October 29, 2025 at 7 p.m. Jess spoke, hands waving in the air. And then after the director yelled cut, the man just lunged at me. I quickly pushed him off and almost kicked him. Security had to escort him away. The nerve of him. Amanda rolled her eyes, shaking her head. I don't know how you handle that acting stuff. It would drive me crazy. It's just acting, babe. Jess smiled. They glared at each other before bursting into laughter. Honestly, it does frustrate me too. My current partner has no idea what to expect when I come home from a shoot. You've seen how that energy can be. True, you are a bundle of energy when you're fired up. Yeah, well, no more of that wild energy for you. She playfully stuck her tongue out at Amanda. Until you get it together. Amanda frowned, shaking her head. Are you really going to turn all perfect on me? Settling down and being a mom, Amanda tried to brush it off, but deep down she wondered if she was cut out for a normal life. I hope so, she whispered. He makes me feel wonderful, Jess. Bitch, Amanda smirked, jealous. Jessica sighed dramatically. Seriously, do you think Adam needs directions, or should I give him my number so I can send help? Amanda rolled her eyes. Jess grinned. And who knows? Maybe one day I'll surprise everyone and actually be with a guy who can keep up with me. Amanda chuckled quietly. Stranger things have happened. Chapter 8, Halloween Saturday, October 31, 2025 at 7 p.m. The party was classy and predictable. It was nothing like the Halloween parties she used to attend. There was no body paint or wild outfits, no dancing on tables. Classical music played instead of loud beats. Amanda moved through it like an outsider from another world. But every time Adam's hand found hers, she felt a spark. A room full of smart jackets and tidy collars showed how much the tech folks and lawyers cared. Their partners really dressed up, choosing costumes that matched perfectly. Amanda had done her homework too. She wore a deep red gown with gold details. The fabric fit snugly and had a high slit that revealed sparkling layers underneath. Her hair was styled in an elegant twist, with dark curls cascading down, adorned with a crown of dark branches and rich roses. She added gold accents around her eyes that shimmered when she turned her head. Her black heels and matching velvet capelet made her look grand and eye-catching. Next to her, Adam looked sharp in a fitted dark suit with a bright red tie, making him stand out just enough. Together, they seemed like a modern version of Hades and Persephone, perfectly in sync. Amanda watched as people enjoyed their fancy drinks while discussing the latest news about taxes and technology. Others chatted about contracts and workplace advancements. She realized it had been a long time since she'd been to a party where no one had spilled a drink or caused a scene. It felt nice, though. Just a classy adult gathering, the kind Adam enjoyed. And honestly, she found herself liking it too. After sipping some great cocktails and engaging in polite conversation, Amanda decided to step away for a moment. "Hey, can I get you a refill?" she asked Adam. "I just thought of that too. Yes, I'd like another beer," he replied. She smiled and headed toward the fancy bathroom. When she opened the door, expecting something surprising, her heels clicked on the tiles as she stepped inside. The loud music faded, replaced by the gentle sound of water and soft fabric nearby. A woman stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her costume. The deep red with golden trim was unmistakable as a phoenix outfit, but a bolder version. "Changing costumes for your boyfriend in the middle of the party?" Amanda joked. The woman smiled back. "He started with a light phoenix look, but I think he'll be teased for this darker style." Amanda laughed. "That's clever. I might just have to use that idea for next year." "Please do. Costume fun is better when shared. Could you help me zip this?" "Of course." Amanda stepped closer and zipped up the dress, the rich fabric settling perfectly. "Thanks," the woman said, turning to admire Amanda's outfit. "Wow, yours is stunning and—" "You look familiar," Amanda said, tilting her head. "That's funny, I was thinking the same thing. I know I've seen you before." The woman posed playfully, her hands raised as if holding something. "Together for the cosmos." Amanda gasped in surprise. "Oh my God, you're Zora Chen." "I loved Starship Academy. I once dressed up as you for a gallery event." "Wait, you're Model X," the woman smiled knowingly. "I saw that show, it was exciting, and Zora finally got some attention." Amanda raised an eyebrow. "You watch those kinds of things?" "Cosplay art, thank you," she replied with a playful tone. "Your galleries have flair without crossing the line. You make it feel like a performance, not just stills." Amanda blinked, taken aback. The woman's expression softened. "Just so you know, I'm here tonight with someone who sees me as more than just my costume. I didn't think I would ever experience that. It turns out I just needed to notice guys who want to build something, not always take." Amanda nodded slowly. Something stirred in her heart. The woman winked, checked her lipstick in the mirror, and opened the door. "Enjoy the party, Model X. You too, Phoenix." Amanda turned just as the door closed behind her. "Oops," she said, realizing she hadn't introduced herself. She looked in the mirror, reapplying her lipstick when the door swung open to laughter and music. Something brushed against her arm, causing the applicator to smear across her lips. "Oh, sorry, they giggled. "Nice costume." Amanda barely heard them. Her eyes were glued to the mirror. For a moment, she just blinked at her reflection, the sharp eyeliner, the styled hair, her costume fitting perfectly. She admired the arch of her brow, the way she tilted her head, and the red smear on her mouth. Above it all, a striking black crown sat like something a queen might wear. She looked more like Ripley than herself. Ripley's bold smile flashed back at her, confident and bright in the glass. And behind that smile, Amanda felt a flicker of herself fading. Not the woman Adam loved. Not the girl in comfy clothes on his couch, but a version in perfect lighting, the one who turned hardships into art. "Do you miss me?" Ripley seemed to whisper from the mirror. Amanda flinched. The voice wasn't real, but it felt powerful all the same. She took a step back, breathing deeply, trying to center herself. Just her again, but not quite. With her hands gripping the counter, Amanda looked down into the sink, the buzzing light above her making everything feel electric. "What was that?" she whispered, hardly breathing. "Is this all I am?" Her friend's earlier words echoed in her mind, a future Amanda had never imagined. She touched her collarbone, feeling the words "she dreams," and paused on the spade tattoo. It symbolized her strength to face difficulties. She looked into the mirror. As a child, Alice in Wonderland had been her escape from a tough life. In high school, while reading Through the Looking Glass, she learned the important lessons. Taking a deep breath, she steadied herself. Realizing this was her moment, she adjusted her costume, fixed a crooked red mark, and opened the door. Back with Adam, she handed him his drink and leaned in to place a light kiss on his cheek. It was a gentle moment that said, "I am worth more." But as she stepped back, two words echoed in her mind. "We'll see." Chapter 9. Fast forward the months after Halloween flew by with holidays, growing love, and shared moments. Their daily life blended seamlessly, with quick kisses over morning coffee, grocery trips that often ended with ice cream, and long talks that lasted until dawn. They met each other's families over dinners filled with friendly questions and laughter. Amanda's mom was cautiously supportive, while Adam's dad enthusiastically welcomed her after she enjoyed more barbecue. Their relationship deepened, becoming playful and tender. It was about more than just attraction. It was about trust and the joy of being together. Even Jess started visiting more often. Though she never said it out loud, the way she watched Adam told Amanda he had earned her approval. Once, Amanda walked in on a private moment with Adam. Jess peeked in, her hands raised as if judging a performance. With a smirk, she said, "Nice form, 10 out of 10, keep going," before quietly closing the door, satisfied like an older sister. Liam laughed as Jess pulled him toward the living room. "Let's find our own fun," she said with a playful smile. That night ended with laughter, silly board games, and a dare Jess still insists was made up. By summer, everyone wondered not if they would get engaged, but when. Chapter 10, The Love You Keep. Saturday, June 27, 2026, 6 p.m. Seaport. The pier shone golden, the skyline glowing in the afternoon light. Amanda felt its warmth on her skin, as if the city had paused just for them. Adam held her hand tightly, but there was something about him that felt a bit tense. They walked past a small area near the water where a street violinist was playing. As they got closer, a familiar melody filled the air, a song from years ago that she remembered right away. "Love is all around you," she hummed softly. "Love is knocking at your door." No way that's a coincidence, she thought. Just then, Adam let go of her hand and knelt down. Time seemed to freeze. The people around them, the music, even her own breathing seemed to pause. "Oh no, 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 he's not." She looked down at him and he gazed up at her, his expression serious but hopeful. "I never expected you, Amanda," he said, his voice calm. "You laugh at my silly jokes. You've made mornings special for us. You've believed in us even when I was scared." Her heart swelled and she felt breathless. There was no wind, but it felt as if she were floating. "He sees me, not just my outside, but me. I'm not asking you to forget your past," he continued. "I'm asking to be your future." He pulled out a ring box and opened it. It was simple and beautiful. "Will you marry me?" Before she realized it, she knelt beside him. "Yes," she whispered. Then louder, "Yes, definitely." She held his face gently and kissed him, once on one cheek, then the other, and then on his lips. She couldn't stop smiling. This is what safety feels like, she thought, love shining brightly in front of a small crowd. People cheered and someone whistled. The violinist continued to play their song while Amanda rested her forehead against Adam's. "You're really crying," she said softly, wiping away a tear on his cheek. "You're really saying yes," he replied, smiling through his tears. Someone offered to take a picture, but she hardly noticed. In that moment on that dock, surrounded by music and a city she loved, and with a boy she never expected, Amanda felt truly chosen, not for how she looked, but for who she was inside. She whispered yes again, savoring the word. Saturday, July 4, 2026, 3 p.m. barbecue. The backyard was already lively when Amanda walked in with Adam. Aunts wearing sunglasses shared drinks of lemonade. Kids ran around with sticky popsicles, and someone had decorated the family dog in red, white, and blue streamers. The air smelled like sunscreen, grilled food, and summer. For the first time, Amanda didn't feel like an outsider. She felt like she was stepping into her future. Adam's mom was the first to greet them, pulling Amanda into a warm hug that smelled of lavender. "You make my boy so happy," she said softly, stepping back to admire the ring. "And that ring looks even better in person." "Thank you," Amanda replied with a smile. "He has made me very happy too." The introductions went on, with some little kids giving her hugs and asking if she was a new aunt. "Not yet, sweethearts, but soon." They ran off laughing about Uncle Adam's silly antics. Amanda saw her mom getting a drink from the cooler. She walked over and hugged her from behind. "Hi, Mom." Her mother smiled and put a hand on Amanda's, touching the ring while hugging her tightly. "So, engaged?" her mom asked, looking at the ring as if it were a big deal. "Yeah," Amanda smiled softly and stepped back from the hug. Her mother spoke gently. Just be smart about it, honey. You need someone strong, someone with a plan. Love doesn't pay the bills. Amanda held back a sigh, letting her mother's words wash over her like old rain. It was the same thing her mom always said. Look around, Mom. Amanda pointed to the backyard where kids were playing in the sprinkler and Adam was laughing by the grill with his dad. Do these look like people worried about money? Her mom looked at the scene for a moment longer. You know how fast life can change. Everything fell apart when your father passed away. I remember, Amanda said quietly. I've been saving, we're fine. But fine isn't enough. Not for a home, not for a family. Everything costs more now. Her voice trembled. I don't want you to go through what I did. Her mom looked away. I still miss him, she whispered. Amanda hugged her tightly. So do I, Mom. I promise I'll do everything I can to take care of us. Her mom pulled back and wiped her cheek, giving a brave smile. Amanda wrapped her arm around her, leading them back toward the laughter and happiness they both wanted to hold on to. Then Adam's younger sister, Lauren, approached them. They found a shady spot by the drink table, Lauren holding her toddler and looking at Amanda thoughtfully. You don't need to tell me everything, she said, but I've seen your work. I love my brother and I know he wants something real. Amanda didn't hesitate. So do I, she said. With a little smile, she added, and yes, I've moved on from the bold outfits. Lauren laughed. Great, you're going to make Halloween so fun in our family. I can't wait to dress up with you, and maybe hear some stories, she smiled gently. If you ever feel like sharing, I'd love to know what got you into it. And there it was, the question she often feared. The reason behind her choices. How could someone who had lived differently understand? Adam never asked her, which was one reason she loved him, but she could see Lauren was not judging her. Amanda grinned. I'll bring the drinks. You bring the curiosity. Welcome to the family, Lauren said, giving her a quick hug. Don't give him a reason to regret it. ACT 2, Chapter 1, Double Bubble. Wednesday, July 22, 2026, 10 a.m. Amanda's apartment. Amanda relaxed on the couch in comfortable shorts and one of Adam's old hoodies, her laptop resting on her legs. She was looking at wedding venues, menus, and prices for 2 places on Long Island. Poppy curled up near her wrist, watching the screen with interest and occasionally trying to catch the moving cursor. Across the room, Ash slid across the wooden floor, chasing a ball that rolled by itself. Adam had spent the weekend adjusting its movements to drive Ash wild. With the smell of coffee in the air, Amanda sighed happily and thought about how her choice to love Adam had changed their lives. Although May 2027 felt far away, each click on her planning document made everything feel more real. She had gathered sample menus, compared prices, and even made a budget plan. She wanted to create something special that felt like theirs. But the tab for their dream venue showed numbers that worried her. She had checked the figures 3 times. Her savings and Adam's money still weren't enough to cover the house, the wedding, and the safety net they wanted before starting a family. Then the call came. Her agent, polite but firm, told her she had been passed over for another commercial role. Another opportunity lost. Her path back to modeling felt stuck. Amanda felt a wave of anxiety as reminders of her mother's words about money and safety echoed in her mind. She had planned to finish her research presentation so that she and Adam could make some decisions tonight. But now, she had to rethink everything about the wedding. She set the laptop down with a thud. Poppy rubbed against her to get her attention. Amanda scratched her chin. Yeah, baby, I can't wait for him to come home either. Then the ping of her phone made her smile. Hoping it was Adam, she frowned when she saw it was a message from Martin, the photographer she used to work with. Martin, hey Rip, can we talk? Want to run an idea by you. Wednesday, July 22, 2026, 11 a.m. Dark web. Adam focused on his screen, moving his eyes between dashboard reports and testing updates. As a product manager at a stable AI company in Manhattan, he balanced user needs, project timelines, and company goals, all while managing multiple messaging channels. It wasn't glamorous, but he enjoyed it. His team was doing well, and their product was actually helping medium-sized companies adopt AI solutions without overspending. Across from him, Liam, his close friend since their first year at Rutgers, leaned back in his chair, playing with a pen. Their friendship was strong. But right now, Liam seemed uncharacteristically unsure, a change from his usual playful sarcasm. "Hey man," Liam said, not quite looking at Adam. "I need to show you something. I promise I wasn't just being nosy." Adam raised an eyebrow. "That's exactly what someone says when they are being nosy." Liam managed a weak smile but didn't joke around. Instead, he turned his computer screen toward Adam and pressed play. The video was old and a bit blurry. Amanda, not the person he thought she was, sat across from an older man, speaking excitedly, responding to some question. Her voice was gentle, her laughter genuine, then something changed. The way the camera moved added an uncomfortable twist. Adam felt his stomach turn. "What is this?" he asked flatly. Liam rubbed the back of his neck. "It's an old video. It looks like it was some sort of audition. Someone on one of my developer forums mentioned it when your engagement came up. I thought it might be some old cosplay clip, but it's not public. This was hidden away. Really hidden. Someone else found it. I just did a normal check for our group like we always do. Nothing else came up, just this." "And why are you looking for videos of my fiancée?" Liam didn't hesitate. "I check for all four of us when things get serious. We've all dated some questionable people. I want to make sure we're good." Adam stared at the paused image. Ripley was looking at the camera with wide eyes and a nervous smile, younger, less experienced, as she engaged in a very personal act. "Send it to me," Adam said quietly. "Then erase it if you can," Liam nodded. "Got it." Adam closed the laptop. His voice was calm but distant. "It might be old, but it still feels like a lie." Wednesday, July 22, 2026, 6 p.m., Adam stepped in, his shoulders tense and his face hard to read as he closed the door behind him. Amanda was sitting at the dining table, her laptop open, the scent of her afternoon coffee still lingering in the air. She looked up, surprised. Their eyes met. "We need to talk," they both said at the same time, raising their eyebrows. Adam sighed, tossed his keys into the bowl by the door and walked into the kitchen. He grabbed a bottle of sparkling water, opened it, and sat down across from her. He noticed the way her posture changed, matching the unease in the room. "You go first," he said, keeping his tone steady but cool. Amanda hesitated, then took a breath. "I got a text from Martin today." Adam's expression hardened. "Then don't reply." His tone was sharper than he intended. He caught himself and softened his voice. "Look, if it's something serious, you can tell me." "We'll get through this together," he said. She nodded, but a heavy feeling filled her chest. "It's not a problem." "It was an offer," she explained. "He wants me to come back for filming, just one day to shoot some new photos and one full scene with a man. The pay is incredible, enough to give us some security." Adam's expression didn't change. "Are you asking me, or telling me?" "Both," she said, her voice careful but her posture strong. "We promise to be honest. Your thoughts, they matter to me." His jaw tightened. "My thoughts on you acting with another man for money, really?" "I don't want to be with another man," she said quickly. "I want you, it's just a job." He let out a quick, humorless laugh. "On camera, acting for money, that's not just a job, Amanda, that's a decision." She raised her hands. "It's just one day, Adam, one. Don't look at me like I'm making a terrible choice. We don't need that kind of money to have a good future. Don't you still have earnings from the site? Or you could keep trying for ads and commercials." She avoided his gaze, feeling the weight of his stare. Her voice trembled. "No, it's hard to get commercial work. My earnings are running out and my savings won't last much longer. I'm 32, Adam. That's considered old in this industry. Younger girls are taking over." She blinked back tears. "Do you know what it's like to feel invisible to people who once admired you?" Adam was quiet for a moment, his jaw working. Then softly he said, "Is this about being noticed? Amanda, I see you. I've always seen you, not as a dream, as you. And I love you for that," she replied. "Think of it as a way to secure our future." Adam tilted his head, meeting her eyes. "Okay, yes, it would be me, on camera, with someone else, I'm not pretending, but that's the cost if I want a big payday, something that the fans have never seen." "And there's a problem," Adam said. "What?" He didn't answer right away. He picked up his phone, looked at it, then slid it across the table without saying anything. The sound made Amanda's stomach drop before she even looked. The screen showed a blurry video of a younger Amanda in an uncomfortable situation with an older man. Her face lost color. "Where did you find this?" "Liam discovered it online. You told me you only did girl-girl scenes with Jess." She shook her head, her voice thin. "I didn't lie, I just didn't mention it. That day was a mistake." Tears filled her eyes. "I was 19. They said it was just a practice. I cried the whole way home. I never even got paid." Amanda felt heat rush to her face as she struggled to breathe. I wanted to forget it, Adam. I never told anyone about it, not even Jess. Amanda, you told me everything was out in the open and I accepted your past, all of it. I remember what you said. Everything that was important, Adam said in a quiet voice. It seems this is important. She reacted fiercely, feeling desperate. How? Because it's with a man? Are you really that unsure of yourself? She saw him flinch and instantly wished she could take her words back. Adam, I didn't mean it that way. His jaw tightened, anger bubbling before sadness took over. Do you think this is about my pride? That I'm just envious? She started to speak but got tangled up in her words. Adam let out a deep breath, his shoulders falling. No, it's because you weren't honest. She lowered her voice. How can I make you see? Back then I felt invisible, no name, no power, just someone they used and forgot. Her eyes averted, but she kept going. Now I have a say. I can create things my way, decide what happens. Adam clenched his jaw. You don't have to put yourself out there for us to have a future. Amanda's eyes shimmered. But the money, love, we wouldn't have to worry or struggle every time something breaks. We could have everything we've dreamed of, a nice home, kids, vacations, safety. He looked at her closely. At what cost? We're engaged. Why do you think I'll stay if you do this? Because I believe in our love. We are strong enough to handle this and we can get through it, together, she replied. Adam paced in the kitchen, running a hand through his hair. I know I messed things up. If I could fix it right now, I would. He didn't laugh, his eyes narrowed. Is that all this means to you? He asked. A bargaining chip, something to give to get what you want. Her mouth opened but closed again. No, that's not what I meant. I love you. I just want to make you happy. The silence stretched between them, heavy and uneven. I need to tell him something by tomorrow, Amanda said. I would leave on Friday. Adam stayed standing, staring. Sounds like you've already made your choice. So much for doing this together. He walked to the door and paused. I'm not making a scene. I don't know how to support someone who doesn't see this as a betrayal. It is wrong. If you go through with this, we're done. The door clicked shut behind him. In the hallway, Adam pressed his hand against the wall. His breath shook. Love shouldn't feel like a choice between letting go and holding on to your self-respect. Wednesday, July 22, 2026, 9 p.m. Amanda stood still, staring at the door he had just closed. The silence felt heavy around her. Her chest rose and fell quickly. She stood there, arms crossed tightly, trying to stay together. Her jaw clenched, her breath uneven. Are you really that unsure of yourself? She wished she could take those words back, pull them out of the air before they landed. But instead of saying sorry, instead of being honest about the fear, the shame, and the hurt from her past, she had turned it into a weapon. She became strong and determined because it felt safer to stand up for herself than to be vulnerable. Her body moved slowly as she shifted onto the couch, but her mind was stuck in the past, remembering his face, the sadness in his eyes, and the way he looked at her as if she were a stranger. She buried her face in her hands, thinking about how she had not only lied about her past, but had also made promises she couldn't keep. How could anyone understand? She thought. That day in the backyard was the worst. As the memory came back, she remembered his breath smelling of mint as he kept calling her kiddo. He told her to open her mouth wider, and she felt like she might choke. Once she really did choke, and they just laughed, saying it would look real. After some time, the experience got uncomfortable, and it left her feeling messy and ashamed. They laughed again, as if it were all a joke, as if she wasn't even there. On the ride home, she stayed quiet, tears streaming down her cheeks as she tried to clean herself up with her sleeve. She told her friend Jess she was okay, but that night she stood in front of the mirror and didn't recognize herself. Lipstick was smudged across her mouth, making it look like a wound, and dark lines ran down her face. Her reflection seemed to shout back at her, but instead of fear, she felt a surge of power. She realized she needed to harden herself, to be tougher and sharper. Amanda would keep herself safe but would survive as someone new, someone who wouldn't care anymore. She would still sell her work, but this time she would demand what she deserved. Poppy, her cat, rubbed against her leg, purring and bringing her back to the moment. One silly video, she whispered quietly, knowing it was more than just the past. It was about now. She had made a choice for their future, and it had caused the man she loved to leave. Across the room, Ash stood in the hallway, his green eyes on her, waiting. When Amanda didn't move, he turned and walked away as if he already understood the truth she didn't want to face. Adam was gone. Her laptop buzzed beside her, the screen glowing with pictures of a dream wedding, lights strung up, tables lit by candles, and a beautiful dress she had once dreamed about. Without thinking, her hand traced the outline of the dress on the screen. "So then why are you doing this? Why turn away from everything you wanted?" Meanwhile, Adam was gripping the steering wheel tightly, his hands turning white. He leaned back against his seat, blinking hard, trying to push away the thoughts of her laughter from late nights spent together. Being together was special, he recalled her saying. He had smiled and agreed. Then an approaching car's bright headlights jolted him back to reality. "She wasn't committing to me," he whispered. "She was warning me." And he'd smiled, feeling foolish, a foolish person in love. His heart felt heavy. The future he had imagined, a home, children, disappeared like mist. He pressed down on the gas pedal, trying to push away the sadness that threatened to overwhelm him. Wednesday, July 22, 2026, 7 p.m. Martin stood by his tall window, ice swirling in a fancy glass, looking out at the San Fernando Valley below. It was a busy mix of bright signs, lively strip malls, and car lights flickering in the dark like restless fireflies. His phone buzzed. An unknown number, but the area code sent a chill through him. "Hi, Martin, how are you?" Her voice sounded bright but careful. "Ripley." He smiled broadly, placing his glass down and leaning against the window. "It's great to hear from you. I've got everything set for the shoot. 10 more locations are joining our distribution, so have you made a decision?" There was a pause, just long enough for his heart to beat faster. "Yes, I've made a decision." His smile grew sharper, like he was getting ready for something important. Martin glanced at his desk, pushing aside unimportant papers to find the folder labeled Ripley Contracts. "Well then," he said, his voice filled with excitement. "Tell me everything." Thursday, July 23, 2026, 4 p.m. Alone in her apartment with her suitcase packed and waiting by the door, Amanda sat curled up on the couch, her cat Poppy resting against her feet. Her fingers shook as she typed on her phone. "Amanda, Adam, please talk to me. Amanda, we can work this out. Amanda, don't let me leave like this." She pressed send, then closed her eyes, hoping for a quick reply. His response came quickly. "Adam, I'll be at the apartment tomorrow at 9. We'll talk then." She set the phone down with a soft thud. Pulling her legs tightly to her chest, she whispered, "Oh no." He knew she was leaving by 8. Friday, July 24, 2026, 7:30 a.m. Jess sat on the couch, trying to brush orange cat hair off her black yoga pants. "This fur is impossible to remove," she complained. Looking at a curious Poppy, she said, "But don't worry, sweetie, Auntie Jess still loves you," as Poppy rubbed against her hand. Then looking up at Ash, Jess said, "But we need to discuss your behavior." Ash ignored her, sitting on the couch and watching Amanda pace around the apartment, talking to herself. "He said he'll be here at 9, Jess, but I won't be here." Amanda exclaimed, eyes wide with panic. "Should I leave a note? Send another text?" Jess opened and closed her mouth a few times, then dramatically shrugged. "All right, I'll help you out, but only because you're my best friend. I can talk to him and see if I can calm him down if you want. But that's it." With a playful gesture, she crossed her arms like she was closing a curtain after a show. Amanda stood still, blinking, her face showing disbelief. "Jess, what is going on?" Jess fell onto the couch, laughing so hard she held her stomach. "What do you want me to say? I already told you I don't support this. I know it's not a good idea and I don't always make great choices myself." Amanda let out a long breath, her shoulders drooping. "Jess." Jess's tone became gentle. "Mandy, are you really sure about this? If you're not, you could stay." Amanda pressed her lips together as her phone beeped. Her rideshare was 5 minutes away. Jess stood up, placing a hand on Amanda's shoulder. "Are you really sure?" Amanda took a deep breath, feeling the 3 pairs of eyes on her. She pulled Jess in for a hug and whispered, "Not at all, but it's already happening." She knelt down to pet the cats. Poppy rubbed against her hand while Ash watched, unsure. "Be good for Auntie Jess, my darlings," she said softly. "Don't forget me." Then, with a quiet click, the apartment door closed behind her. Amanda rested her forehead against the cool door. "I'm not choosing Ripley," she whispered. "I'm choosing stability." She turned, squared her shoulders, and stepped outside. End ACT 2 ACTA Chapter 1 Ashes. Thursday, July 30, 2026, 9 p.m. Amanda's apartment. The flight back was tiring. The whole week had been tough. Shooting day was just one part of it. There were 2 days of travel, 2 days of meetings, and a full day for makeup and outfits. But the real fatigue was deeper. She felt drained from acting in between takes, pretending to be happy and feeling like it didn't matter. She thought it would be different. Also, Adam had not replied to any of her calls or texts. Her phone beeped as she stepped out of the elevator toward her home. It was Martin sharing the latest updates online. Marketing and PR efforts were strong and attracting people to the site. Membership numbers were growing fast, which meant her bank account was growing too. Financially, everything was working as planned, but emotionally, she felt empty. She opened the door and pushed her suitcase inside, carefully avoiding Poppy, who was weaving between her legs. There was no sign of Ash to greet her, but that was usual. Jess wasn't there to welcome her back, and her small hope that Adam would be waiting with a coffee was gone. As she entered her apartment, she didn't expect it to feel so much less like home. A line from a favorite song hit her harder than she thought. "I want you to notice. When I'm not around." She felt the weight of it. She noticed. Oh, she really noticed. Her breath caught in her throat, unable to fill the emptiness growing in her chest. She took off her shoes and got a glass of water from the tap before searching for Ash. "Ashy, I'm home," she called softly. There was no answer. When she peeked into her bedroom, she saw him curled up on Adam's side of the bed, blinking slowly, his tail wrapped tightly around him. The floor felt unsteady, but Ash stayed still. With heavy movements and blurry eyes, Amanda dropped her clothes on the floor and walked over, her heart pounding. She pressed her face into Ash's soft fur and let the tears flow. Poppy sat by her feet. Friday, July 31, 2026, 10 a.m., Amanda's apartment. Amanda quietly entered the kitchen just after 9 a.m. Poppy was nudging her face with her paw, reminding her it was late and they needed to eat. Sleep had been hard to find the night before. She went through her routine, filling the cat's bowls with fresh water and food. She filled the kettle, measured the coffee grounds, and waited for the water to hiss. There was no familiar kiss on her shoulder, no warm arms around her waist. Pouring coffee into one mug felt all wrong. She took a sip and the taste was harsh, or maybe that was just how she felt. She poured the coffee down the sink and reached for green tea instead. "Green tea is healthier," she told herself. She sat at the counter, alone with her thoughts and the rising steam. She had been so focused on making sure they had a good financial future that she hadn't considered the little moments that mattered. She used to find their morning routine sweet, a small joy that warmed her heart. Now it felt like everything, and it was gone. Friday, July 31, 2026, 11 a.m., Adam's office. Adam hardly noticed Liam come in until he heard a soft knock. Liam was standing just inside the door, holding 2 bottled teas. "You good?" he asked, offering one. Adam leaned back in his chair and sighed as if the question was hard to answer. He took the bottle but didn't open it. "I don't even know what I am," he finally admitted. "Some days I miss her so much it hurts. Other days I remember exactly why I left." Liam nodded, moving his chair a little closer. "That makes sense." Adam turned off his computer screen. "I can't go online without seeing her face. Every ad is for her new Model X pictures or videos. I've been getting emails and texts. Someone even offered me a discount code to watch her on camera." Liam winced. "Wow, it's everywhere. Gossip TV did a segment on her. A newspaper in Queens called her the most talked-about woman online. And the worst part, I get recognized in public. Some photographer at the deli asked me how I felt about her performance." He tightened his jaw, holding back his frustration. "What did you say?" Adam let out a short laugh, but there was no humor in it. "No comment. We're not together anymore. I wish her the best." "That's all I said, but you know what the headlines said. Jilted fiancé avoids questions as video goes viral." Liam leaned back, letting out a frustrated sigh. "Look, I understand it's a mess, but I need to ask, are you really done? I've known you since college. I've seen you date and move on, but when you were with her, you were all in, happy, really happy. You can't pretend that." Adam looked out the window, watching the clouds drift above the city. His voice went soft. "I was all in. I loved her so much I started to plan our future together." A heavy silence fell between them. "But I can't handle this," he added quietly. "Not the video, not the attention, not the lies that came with it." Tuesday, August 4, 2026, 7 p.m. Adam's apartment. Amanda stood nervously in the hallway after knocking. She had tried to reach him for the past 3 days, but he hadn't replied. She knocked again, unsure if he would answer. He did. His eyes looked tired and his shoulders were tense. "Can I come in, please?" she asked. Adam hesitated. Amanda reached into her little purse and pulled out a folded piece of paper. She held it up for him to see. His own handwriting stared back at him. "For emergencies, 1 free call if you need me," along with a silly drawing of a cat in armor. He had slipped it into her purse once to make her smile after a tough day. His shoulders relaxed slightly, and he stepped aside. She entered carefully, like a stranger in a place she used to feel at home. The quiet was thick between them until he asked plainly, "What do you want, Ripley?" Her breath caught. That stung more than she'd expected. "It's still Amanda." "No, not to me." She swallowed hard. "This shouldn't be what breaks us. Why don't we leave and start fresh, build the life we dreamed of?" Adam sighed and shook his head. "We could have done that before all this noise started, before the tabloids began chasing me." He ran his fingers through his hair. "We have family here, I have roots, you didn't have to do it. It was just a job, just work, it didn't mean anything, please." His jaw tightened. "Right, and he was just someone to please your fans." She flinched. "No," she whispered. "I gave you everything," he said, his voice a bit shaky. "I trusted you, being with you was special to me, it was ours, and you let it go." "It meant everything to me too," she said quietly. "That's not true." She flinched again. He had never spoken to her so directly. "Adam, I love you. We can make this work if we try. We're strong together. Please give us a chance." "Just tell me what to do." Adam looked down at her for a long moment. "I love you too. I can't just stop my feelings in a week, but I don't trust you. Don't look at me like that. It's still me." "No," he said. "I'm seeing someone I used to know, someone I thought I could share my life with, someone I want to forget." She moved closer, reaching for his hand, wanting to bridge the gap between them. "You know what bothers me," he said, pulling away as if she had hurt him. "Not once have I heard you say, 'I'm sorry,' just excuses." He gave her a strong look. "You really can handle this well, can't you? You are 2 people now, but as for me, I'm not looking for anything more." He turned to the door and grasped the handle. "You can still have everything. The house, money, even kids." His tone softened, but he stood firm. "It just won't be with me." She paused at the doorway, holding her breath, hoping it might turn back time if she didn't exhale. Old thoughts rushed back, money, safety, independence, things she whispered to herself for years. But all she heard was his voice, the one that once made her feel special. "Give us a chance," she had said, but he couldn't. They couldn't. She had given up the one thing that made them unique, the thing no one could touch, trust. A sob escaped before she could stop it. Her voice was small. "Can we still talk after things settle? I miss you so much." He looked away. "Maybe, give it some time. A month, 2, who knows, but—" He faced her again. "I wouldn't wait if I were you." Tuesday, August 4, 2026, 11 p.m. Amanda's apartment. Amanda lay back on her bed, scrolling through her phone absent-mindedly. Her social media feed was filled with memories, inside jokes, photos, smiles. Each one felt like a small stab in her heart. She dug deeper into her past posts. Images of fun moments, compliments, and excitement filled her screen. It had once thrilled her, proving she was desired and strong. Now it made her feel sick. The same old words but different feelings. People who didn't know her real self, only her appearance. Switching to her personal account, she hoped for a change. Instead, it shattered her. Happy memories, sweet moments, a dress that once made her feel cherished. Those images didn't mock her past but mourned the future she had nearly grasped. On a whim, she checked her friend's account, only to find she had been blocked by Adam's entire family. Her breath caught in her throat. The screen blurred and she dropped her phone face down as it buzzed with a new notification. Pressing her face into the pillow, she wished to hide from herself. Maybe I was never Amanda at all, she thought, just Ripley in softer light. Another sleepless night was waiting for her. Wednesday, August 5, 2026, 9 a.m. Amanda's apartment. Amanda lay curled up around her body pillow, the faint smell of Adam's cologne still clinging to the fabric. Her hand reached out to the cold sheet beside her, her thumb brushing a spot where warmth used to be. She heard dishes clanking in the kitchen but didn't move, didn't care. The robbers could take whatever they wanted as long as they fed the cats. The door creaked open and Jess peeked in. Amanda was in yesterday's clothes. Crumpled tissues lay on the floor and her phone was charging, playing More Than Words on repeat. Jess stepped inside and sat down next to her, wrapping her in a silent, comforting hug. "Oh, babe," she said, gently stroking Amanda's hair. "You've always been torn between Amanda and Ripley. I've always been Jess. That's your struggle, babe." In the soft, painful quiet, Amanda let herself be held, crying into Jess's shirt. Even the girl who sold dreams needed to feel real. Monday, August 10, 2026, 9 a.m., Amanda's apartment. 5 numb days later, Amanda woke up with a pounding headache and a queasy stomach. Her teeth hurt. A bottle of cheap peach-flavored vodka sat on her bedside table. A plastic cup had spilled, leaving a sticky trail on the floor. Staring at herself in the mirror, her tired eyes looked back at her and her hair was a mess. She sneered at her reflection and turned away. Pulling open a drawer, she rummaged through soft clothes. Some items fell to the floor. Everything felt too soft, weak. Her closet was no better as her fingers slid past sweaters, dresses, and remnants of wedding planning until they landed on a pair of old, shiny black shorts. She pulled them off the rack and put them on, feeling like they were a protective layer. She cinched a cardsuit belt around her waist, black and red. Then she placed a childhood crown, silver with alternating red jewels, on her head. Broken yet beautiful, standing before the bedroom mirror, legs apart, hands on her hips, she smiled. This is who I was always meant to be. Amanda was the dream, a real disappointment. Adam wanted someone to love. She turned to look at her reflection, smirking. Never realizing I'm the brand. Her fingers grazed the edge of the belt. She pulled the shorts tighter, their shine catching the bedroom light like ink. In the mirror, Ripley stared back, chin high, smirk sharp. Ripley pays the rent, brings security. Ripley doesn't cry, she doesn't beg, she never asks for permission, and she survives. Once I dreamed of falling down a rabbit hole, she sang. But now I've reached the top. Goodbye, Amanda, Ripley said with a smile to herself, adjusting her crown. It fit just right now. For a queen. Wednesday, August 12, 2026, 9 p.m. Ripley's apartment. Ripley spent her day taking bold selfies, slipping back into old outfits that felt like second skin. Each look, whether shiny, soft, or tough, felt familiar. The poses were easy for her, matching the lively music that played in the background. By evening, she had created a new collection of photos and felt proud of her work. She clicked to post. The final image showed her in a daring white outfit with parts missing, her back arched and eyes fixed on the camera, bold and confident. Red lipstick framed her smile. The caption read, "Some chase dreams." I prefer the truth of being myself. The likes rolled in quickly, along with lively comments. You never let us down, Ripley. Welcome back, Queen. I'd give anything for a chance with you, she thought. Maybe they will get their chance. This time there would be no holding back. If they wanted Ripley, they'd get all of her with no limits. She closed the app and called the man who always agreed to help. Hey, babe, he answered. Checking in for updates? She paused as Ash, her pet, appeared in the hallway, watching her without moving. For a moment she thought about hanging up. Maybe I could try again. But then Ash turned his head, sensing her decision. No, I gave it my all to Amanda, and it still wasn't enough. With determination, Ripley lifted the phone again, her voice smooth and firm. Martin, she said, let's get ready, I'm back. And this time we focus on the real me. The End. ACT03B Chapter 1. What Remains. Monday, August 1, 2026, 10 a.m. Adam's office. Adam didn't notice Liam enter until he heard a gentle knock. Liam stood at the door, holding 2 bottled teas. You okay? Liam asked, offering him one. Adam leaned back in his chair, sighing heavily. He took the bottle but didn't open it. I really don't know how I feel, he admitted. Some days I miss her so much it hurts. Other days I remember why I left. Liam nodded slowly, moving a chair closer. That makes sense. Adam closed his laptop. I can't focus. I'm afraid to see her in ads selling memberships. Liam winced. Yeah, that sounds really tough, but if it helps, there haven't been any advertisements yet. Adam scoffed and looked at Liam as if he couldn't believe what he had just heard. I told you I would help, Liam said, rubbing his forehead and releasing a long sigh. She returned on Friday and I've been avoiding her calls and messages. I understand, Liam nodded. But you need to speak with her. You need closure no matter how it goes. Just then, Adam's phone buzzed again. Her name appeared. Amanda. Adam, 575 7th Avenue at 8 p.m. Please, I need to explain where I've been in person. Liam glanced at Adam as he opened his laptop. It's Amanda. She wants me to meet her. Adam typed the address into his browser. At a photo studio downtown. Are you going? Liam asked, but Adam looked away. You should go, listen to her, then move on. Adam took a deep breath and leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms. The bright red door of the photo studio loomed before him. Monday, August 1, 2026, 8 p.m. downtown studio. The studio felt like a scene from a dream. Low lights created an atmosphere filled with mist. Ivy wrapped around marble columns and artificial petals sparkled in the dim light. In the center, a large bed covered in deep burgundy fabric caught his eye. Adam stepped into the room, hands in his pockets, feeling tense. He thought, please let me be wrong. Then she emerged from the shadows, a striking figure in white and lavender which glimmered under the lights. Her brown hair was pulled back with a white headband, and she seemed to glow. Striped stockings hugged her legs, and there was a delicate touch of fabric around her chest. Her eyes met his with a bold look, but underneath the confident smile, he noticed something vulnerable there. "Hi," she said softly, almost hesitantly. "Very stylish," Adam replied, his voice rough as if he hadn't spoken much that day. He glanced around the room, taking in the vines and the lavish bed, feeling a tension in his chest. His jaw tightened as he tried to decide what to do with his hands, keep them in his pockets or clench them into fists. "Did you feel the need to show me all this?" Her smile faded slightly, a shadow of distress breaking through. Did he really think this place felt cold and uninviting? A final moment of honesty and a soft glow. She walked closer, her movements gentle, and sat on the edge of the bed, patting the spot next to her. "This isn't what you think. Please," she said quietly. "Sit down, I need to talk." He paused, glancing around the room. Then he took a slow breath and moved to sit beside her, turned slightly to face her, his hands tense on his knees. She reached for one of his hands, covering it with both of hers. "I called Martin the night you left, and I said no." Adam's breath caught in his throat, his gaze shot to hers. "Then where have you been?" Her smile trembled. "In therapy." He looked at her, concern in his eyes. "I fell apart when you walked out," she admitted softly. "It was the first time I had to face what I had done. Jess came over and really confronted me." Amanda looked up with a weak smile. "She really cares about you, you know, maybe more than she cares about me right now." Her smile faded. "But I still couldn't see it clearly. I was too caught up in my own thoughts. I needed help to understand myself, so I reached out to the therapist who helped me after my dad passed. She made time for me every day this week." Amanda's voice wavered a little. "And I went because I messed up the best thing in my life." She looked him in the eyes. "You." He fell silent, taking it all in, his jaw tightening as he held back his words. She squeezed his hand tighter. "I'm really trying, Adam. Dr. Bone has been very clear. She made me look inside myself even when it was hard. She said people often chase after money when love has let them down. And that hit me because love didn't let me down. I let love down. I let us down. I'm trying to understand why I kept reaching for money like it could fix things, why I felt a need for control when I was scared. How I created Ripley to protect myself, and then hid behind her until I lost track of who I was. But that's not who I want to be anymore." Her voice shook, full of honesty. Her eyes glimmered with tears. "I want what we dreamed of, the chaos, the bills, the kids. I miss our little moments together. I miss us so much. I want you, Adam, more than anything." Adam gently stroked her hand, steady and calm. "But I don't just want us, Adam. I want to create something real, something that belongs to both of us, not just me. A life, a future, maybe even a place where others feel free and don't make the mistakes I did." He exhaled slowly, his eyes closing as if he were trying to gather himself. When he opened them again, they glistened, a bit amazed. "Wow, you're really thinking this through, working on yourself." His voice was a little shaky. She lifted her head, eyes shining with emotion. "I'm trying, but there's still a long way to go." She kept her gaze firm. "I'll understand if you still need some space from us, from me. Dr. Bone once told me that you cannot build something real on a lie. I broke that rule. I broke your trust too." He looked at her for a long moment. His thumb brushed her knuckles, slow and careful, as if he was trying to understand the look in her eyes. Then he moved his bag and pulled out her old copy of Alice in Wonderland. The book was worn and soft at the edges. "Jess gave me this on Friday," he said. "It reminded me how much it mattered to you in the past." Amanda laughed through her tears. "It was messy and real. That silly woman," she said. "We lost trust," Adam said quietly. He set the book on the bed and held her hand, "But trust can grow back. It just takes time. After all," he added with a small smile, "we are all a little mad here." Her laugh shook, but it was honest. Mad enough to try again, he did not answer with words. He pulled her into a close hug that felt like a door opening. For a moment, nothing else mattered. "Thank you for still seeing me," Amanda said. They pulled back and sat side by side, hands still joined. Adam looked around the room. The lights were soft. The space felt calm. "So what is all this?" he asked. She smiled, a little shy. "Martin was not happy when I said no. He tried to change my mind. Instead, I gave him a new idea. It is something Jess and I have talked about for a while." She took a breath and met his eyes. "You and I would invest in this studio. We would work with Martin and Jess. We would grow it slowly and focus only on creative shoots. Strong characters, story-driven images, nothing that crosses our lines. Jess would manage the parts we do not want to handle." Adam thought for a moment. "So Model X becomes the main name," he said. "Our name." She leaned forward until her forehead touched his. "But this moment is just for us. This is our story, if you are ready, and if I have not ruined everything." He laughed softly, his eyes wet. "You are unbelievable." "A little," she said with a smile. She leaned in and kissed him. It was gentle and full of relief. The room seemed to fade away as they held each other, close and steady. Nothing rushed, nothing forced, just two people choosing to stay. She gently moved closer to him, resting her hands on his shoulders as she took him in fully. This wasn't about just getting by. This was Amanda choosing love, choosing him. His name slipped from her lips with a soft sigh, followed by a tender smile. She swayed against him in a slow, gentle rhythm, their breaths falling in sync, their eyes locked together. With his hands on her hips, he traced small circles, and their lips met, deepening the kiss. The pace changed, a mix of longing and laughter blending into something that felt endless. There was no act, no front, just genuine love guiding her every move. She held him close, a spark of joy sweeping through her, lighting up her whole being. And when he felt the same connection, every heartbeat inside her felt like a new beginning, a sense of belonging. Later, catching her breath, she lay comfortably against him, playfully brushing her fingers along his side. Adam leaned back, glancing up at the vines above, letting out a light laugh. "Are those real ropes?" he asked. Her eyes sparkled as she propped herself up on her elbows. "Yes, they are," she replied, raising an eyebrow. "Want to give it a try?" He smiled, lifting her chin to share another kiss. She melted into the moment, her worries fading away. No act, no Ripley, just Amanda and him. For the first time in weeks, it felt like the future was bright and full of possibilities. Epilogue Sunday, August 7, 2026, 9 a.m. Amanda's apartment. Ash lay comfortably across the back of the couch while Poppy settled in Adam's lap. The kettle whistled softly, steam rising as Amanda poured their coffee. Adam leaned against the counter, looking sleepy in his casual clothes, one hand gently stroking Poppy, his hair tousled. Amanda took a sip, then moved closer to him, her fingers brushing through the soft hair on his chest, her lips slightly parted. "Coffee kiss," she whispered. He smiled and leaned in without hesitation. Their lips met, warm and familiar, and Amanda smiled against him. It was no longer just her favorite routine. It had become their promise. The end,